welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're tuned in to the Lions Den, official source of UCCS Sports. A huge thank you to Zach Tripp for coming on representing your UCCS men's golf team. Really do appreciate him taking time out of his schedule to join us here on the Lions Den, play a little bit of Beat the Broadcasters. And how about that, David? Did you see the action?
Yes.
Broadcasters back in business now.
Yes.
2-4 on the season, but we got some momentum now.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually totally defeated as far as Beat the Broadcasters go, but I am looking forward to the next round.
Hey, you'll have another shot.
Yeah,
I
I hope so.
We'll get more opportunities for you. Wholesome David Olson joining
Yeah.
us here on the Lions Den to talk your UCCS track scene. What's going on, Wholesome David Olson?
Yeah.
We had some guests a week ago who joined us here on the Lions Den, and we were hoping to give them the Lions Den bump, hoping they were going to go to Nationals, take first place. Didn't quite happen.
Not
they did
first.
It was number one, but there was another one.
There was another
with
one.
it,
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
They ended up with 11th place, which is still solid. I mean, out of all Division II teams in the United States here.
Yes.
So
they did. Yeah. So they did well. Obviously, the women's DMR team was out in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Kansas?
Yeah.
An odd place to do it.
Spelled kind of funny too. So they were at the NCAA Indoor Championships, and I think they did quite well. Obviously, very excited that they made it to nationals.
In spite of the sabotage.
Well, I mean,
Inadvertent.
Well, I know what you're referring to is I believe Melanie Depp got tripped up a little bit. In the first minute or so of the race, which for a lot of people that it doesn't really make sense. But I think they had 13 teams out on this track, which is just a lot of bodies. Yeah. So I can't say I'm super surprised that there was a pileup of some kind. Despite that, I still think that they did pretty well. They ran about 1 second slower than they did at RMAC, and they were second in the conference.
Okay, and so could we assume that trip up cost them a second or more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily,
yeah,
right?
that's enough to kind of mess with your momentum.
And that's really what it was, right? It was a minor slip-up, but it takes you out of your rhythm, out of your momentum, like you mentioned.
Exactly.
It's a little bit hard to get back in that groove in the midst of the run,
right? Exactly. But again, as far as I know, I think that they handled it pretty well. So obviously very excited for them.
So, I mean, it's tough to speculate. Would-haves, could-haves, should-haves. But had that slip-up not have happened, how much faster do you think they might have ran? How much quicker do you think they would have finished, and how far up do you think they might have moved up that ladder?
It's tough to say, to be totally honest. Again, I didn't see it, so I don't know how big of a pileup it was.
Didn't see it either, did she?
No. I would say maybe a second or two. I honestly
so we're not
can't
looking at a huge disparity.
No, you're not going to drop like 15 seconds or something because of a trip. I mean,
unless somebody tackled her, right?
Well, I don't think that happened. No. So they are, so women are officially done with the indoor season.
So that's the indoor season.
That is the indoor season.
And now spring has sprung, so we're looking at the outdoor season.
Yep, exactly,
right? Things are coming quickly.
Yeah.
Let's preview. So first, real quick, it was we have to say, quite a successful indoor season, right? The best time ever run by a DMR team here at UCCS.
Yeah, well, actually, that is true, but
I know, I only speak facts here, David.
But in addition to that, there are quite a few school records from the indoor season.
Okay, so that's not the only record.
No. So Chantel has school records in the 800, the mile, the 3K, and she's part of that DMR squad that also set a school record this season.
Do you know what that was?
Broken glass.
Broken records, that's right. Records being broken.
Yeah.
All across the season here for your Mountain Lions.
Yeah,
right?
and I have a whole list of things that they did well throughout the season. We can get into them if you want to.
Yeah, let's talk about some of those accolades, because they did quite well, Mr. Wholesome David Olson.
They did. I'm just going to go through them kind of quick because we do have some men that competed this weekend,
absolutely.
too.
We got to talk about the men as well.
So as far as athletes that have provisionally or had provisionally qualified at one point through that, during the season. In the 800, you had both Chantel and Molly Provo. And then Chantel was in the mile and the 3K and the entire DMR team.
She's just running her heart out.
Yeah. A lot of all region honors between Chantel and the 800, the mile, the 3K, and the entire DMR squad.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's just they had
quite the season.
They had a great season.
Sad to see it come to an end, but quite the success.
They'll be back. A few of them will be back next year, so I think they'll do all right.
Okay. Looks promising for next year on that note as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Chantel, I believe, is not coming back. I think she only has one season.
Yeah, it was last year of eligibility for her.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but there's a lot of younger girls that are ready to step up too. So
that'll be fun to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the men for a bit.
Let's talk about the men.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned them in a while with the success that the women have had.
Not to say the men haven't been doing well, but those ladies went to Kansas.
Yeah, they've been doing.
We gotta talk about that trip to Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So over the weekend, we sent a couple guys out to Los Angeles and
California,
and that's the one. Yes, it is. So they were at the Occidental Distance Carnival. Which
they went to the carnival in Los
Angeles? Yeah. Probably had went on a couple rides and whatnot.
That sounds like fun.
I know Mish is a big fan of that.
They were running it.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So you had David Camayo. Obviously, we've talked about him quite a bit.
Oh, he's a stud.
He did well. He did really well.
He does his thing.
Yes.
Quite well.
So he was in the 5K. Ran a time of 14:42.
14? Is that good?
It's really fast. I've never broken 16 before.
So heads up, 1-on-1. He's got you.
He's got me by a good margin.
I do too. If we ever race.
I'm not looking forward to that. So that performance is the 4th fastest time in UCCS program history.
Ever?
Well, at UCCS, yeah.
Ever?
Yeah, and the people that are ahead of him on that list, I won't get into the details, but they're really, really good runners.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, I'm pretty excited that he had a good performance.
I bet he was too.
It was his first outdoor race in his entire college career.
And he finished with the 4th fastest time
in UCCS program
history. Give this guy a few more.
Yeah.
He's going to be shattering those records.
So again, he did
That's
pretty
more records being shattered.
Yeah. So Camayo had a good performance, and then Kyle McCloskey. I've been looking forward to seeing him race for a while now. He was in the 1500, and again, he did pretty well. Ran a time of 3:55. It was his first 1500 in, I think, a couple years.
3:55?
Yeah,
That's faster than the segment that we've been on right now.
Yeah, I know.
That's unbelievable.
And so he is actually number 4 all time on the UCCS 1500 outdoor list.
So we got to get those guys up above the 4th place mark, right?
If they could, yeah. I think that would be great. If we had them on the show.
Oh, the Lions Den bump.
That's
what you're
get
saying.
that bump, yeah.
We get them on the show, goes the record.
Exactly.
Right.
So
both, I know what our mission has to be moving forward to help the team.
I'll talk to him. I'll see if I can get him on.
Do.
Yeah. So that is basically it as far as recap. Up next.
Yeah, what's coming up next?
The men and the women are at the Jerry Queller Classic at CU Boulder.
Boulder, okay, just right up the highway.
Yep, this Saturday, yep.
Okay, right up the road. So they should feel pretty comfortable there.
Yeah. We've been going to this race for a long time, so we are pretty comfortable there.
Okay, so we come back and we talk. We're actually not going to have a show next week because it's spring break and all the kids are spring breaking. But when we come back after that, we're going to have some results. So what are we going to be talking about? What are your predictions moving forward? When we come back to talk about these results, who are we going to be talking about? What are they going to have accomplished? What are the names that we should be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm very curious to see how Kyle McCloskey continues to do throughout the season, and then
trying to get to 3rd or higher on the list.
Exactly. And then on the women's side, I think if Molly Klotz does race again, I don't know if she is or not, but if she does, I think she's going to have a pretty good season.
Okay, so McCloskey and Klotz. That's
who we're looking for. McCloskey and Klotz. That's who I'm looking at.
That's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I like it. All right. Well, Wholesome David Olson, hey, what are you doing for spring break? You got any plans?
I am going on a couple rock climbing trips,
okay.
So I will be out of the state for a little bit.
All right. Well, we wish you the best, my friend.
Yes,
we'll see
thank
when
you.
We come back.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to break down your UCCS women's basketball NCAA run. They just finished up their season within the last week, so we're going to recap their trip to Texas as Charlie went down there with them and stayed past the time they were there, apparently. So he has a lot of insight he's going to share with you when we come back here on the Lions Den.